This was supposed to be something else, but I felt I needed to make this, both after some fairly distressing videos of my own, but also just a thought I've had for the whole year, and also outside of this channel. And for this channel, the question of why I keep going. It's not an uncommon question. For a lot of people, why we bother at all is at the back of our minds. It's hard to really process billions of people with the knowledge that most of them are probably unhappy. I've certainly thought about it in January when I lost my best friend, in February when I applied to 30 places and got rejected, in March when my mom went to the hospital, in April when she came back and we had to convince her she needed hospice, in May when we started taking care of her and she was declining, in June and July during the extreme heat wave and the constant air pollution, in August when and in September when she died, and right after when my dad sold the house, in October when I thought I'd be living on the streets, and right now, both because I still can't get a job, but I get the impression I might never get one. I might end up losing all the money I saved up, all my belongings, just to survive and to help my brother and sister. I especially feel it now. I don't really think much of a future anymore. I don't really think there's going to be much more past the next year. I don't think things are going to get better, and I accepted that long ago, but at the very least, I'd like to pretend to live. I feel so alone and so tired every single day, yet I keep waking up. There's a song I listen to when I really want to feel that sense of worth. I save it for those really specific moments. Come On, or Loosen Endless Longing is the second to last song on Silver Mount Zion's second album, Born Into Trouble as Sparks Fly. Silver Mount Zion are a band composed of some members of Godspeed You Black Emperor. Silver Mount Zion are a bit strange, and I want to save that story for another day, much further into the future. Unlike the far more emotional He Has Left Us Alone, but shafts of light sometimes grace the corners of our rooms, Born Into Trouble is a much more instrumental and focused album. I can't really tell you much about it, I'd rather save that for a very special day. It includes songs like Sisters, Brothers, Small Boats of Fire, or Falling from the Sky. And Could Have Moved Mountains. In my eyes, Born Into Trouble is as good, if not slightly better, than He Has Left Us. The only reason I prefer that album is because of the emotions it gives me and the comfort I find to its catharsis. Born Into Trouble is more abstract and generally a much more poetic album. I enjoyed songs for completely different reasons than their other projects. However, one song stands out from the rest, not only because of how incredible it is, but also because of how it plays the post-rock energy, revitalizing the mixture of harsh punk rock and empowering orchestra. For the album, if I ever cover it proper, there's a sense of trouble to it, the sense of being somewhere you shouldn't and suffering from it, that you live in hell but you're also defenseless, that sense of desiring something better, to be somewhere that's happier. The red background over the silhouette of a bird looking out into the hazy, fiery atmosphere. Godspeed has still been releasing, where Silver Mount Zion have been a lot more sparse. They released an album last time and it was kind of a joke, but they've recently released something a lot more serious and a lot harder to listen to. I don't think you'll expect a video on it, but expect it at the end of the year. The song starts with harsh guitar notes and feedback over a fairly sharp and harsh drum behind it. The feedback echoes through the slow start along with it. It has this foreboding beginning to it through the intro as the harsh toms and snares play beneath the ride cymbal. A higher and faster, more frantic guitar shrill begins later into the intro as the song begins to speed up. It really does feel like a charge up through the intro, which is already on top of the song being fantastic as is. As the drums pop in, as the instruments join in on the orchestra, and as everyone begins, it becomes both nerve-wracking and exciting. This sense of longing builds and builds up as the latter end of the intro speeds up. There's this anticipation of something truly great. The bass speeds up, the strings melt into one large pit, and the drums grow frantic with crashes before the song turns quiet. A gentle chime of ambience plays as the drums become the last instrument in the mix to be heard through it. It calms down in a sort of anticipation of the blowout. Strange and ambient instruments echo and chime in the darkness for a bit. The chime overwhelms the segment, but but a subtle string plays beneath it and slowly rises up. It's joyous to hear through the noise. It builds up that lingering anticipation back as the guitar shrill returns. The string is joined with a horn too. It sounds like the opposite of a procession, more the celebration to come for that encouragement. It has this mixture of something downtrodden, something kind of harsh and ugly, but it's trying to break out of it. The instruments return louder and harsher than ever. The drums slam and crash about. The guitar plays through the strings and bass. Everything comes back in this beautiful collage of orchestra and excitement. That moment of victory, that moment of realizing that though the battle was lost, the war was not, that you can make it out of the dark and that you can move like the rest around you. The title of the song becomes clear through this gorgeous segment of power and loudness. The loose and endless longing turns into shouts of courage. Come on, come on! It feels so triumphant, it feels so brilliant, it feels unbelievable. The guitars, horns, and strings fall together as the singing of angels through the end of the storm. The snares slam against the rides, hats, and crashes and blend together into the beat with the bass. As the song comes to a close, there's this urge I have to scream to the heavens and proclaim victory. I made it this far. I did it, and I will keep doing it again and again. There's not a single other song that holds this power. Many, and I do mean many, come extremely close. No other song bleeds this kind of desperate plea for a better life, for the urge to keep going when times are tough. It's hard to see any kind of light when you're drowning in darkness. For some people, the sun never breaks through the clouds. I don't think this world will get better, frankly, but I don't really live for that anymore. I don't know what I do live for, but if I wanted the world to get better, I would have to ignore the past 8 years of my life. I've felt like a scared observer of terror since I was in high school and saw the Parkland protests fail. At this rate, especially knowing where I sit in the world, my only real joy comes from escapism because I have the luxury of it. Comes from the knowledge that I can make my life and a few close family lovers' lives better 1 millimeter at a time. Even then, Silver Mount Zion to me are the more down-to-earth artists compared to the radical and sometimes overrated circus of Godspeed. I'm aware how mean that sounds, by the way. I don't hate Godspeed, but I just vastly prefer the much calmer, more beautiful music of Silver Mount Zion. They're more acoustic cuts. They don't have a bad album. Nay, they don't have a single album below great. All of their albums are perfect in my eyes. I have not a single complaint with this one, too. If you want some great music, listen to all their albums. I'm dead serious. You will be blown away by how incredible they're all composed. I say all that because, in a cringy way, Silver Mount Zion are why I love music, why I listen to new stuff, to hear something that speaks to my core. I want artists to make music like this, that really feels like it leaves your speakers and graces your heart, to see grand songwriting, album covers, and most important, to conquer the inevitable. I said this before, and I'll say it again. I keep going because I know someone else has been through much, much worse, and they made it through, sometimes. If they could make it through the worst life could bring them, I can get through what I need to get through. I'm not in anywhere of that kind of rut. There's beauty in the knowledge that even through the lonely crawl through life, through it all, there's still someone out there that is cheering you on, who has been through what you have been through, and they knew how to get through it. You can't see them, you can't hear them, but you know they're there. You're gonna make it.